All right. Hey, everybody. This is your main man, Jaleel Mans, and this welcome to the Marketing Velocity podcast. Today, I want to let you know I am with one of the people who really influence who I am, up to this state in this online space. So today we've got Manny Talavera. Manny has really reached a ton of people. He's always delivered value. And that's one of the things that I've told him that I always look forward to when I talk to Manny is that I've never had a conversation with Manny and then been the same at the end of that conversation. And that's something rare. I can't necessarily say that about a lot of people that I've met. However, this guy in particular can do that. So welcome to the Marketing Velocity podcast, Manny. How are you?
Hey, Jalil, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to y'all today. I'm sure we're gonna dive into some stuff and really excited about this one.
I am too. It's been a long time, I want to say. And if you guys been watching and listening, that's the thing about Manny. So you've heard from Chloe and some of the others that I've known for years. And that's why I bring these people on because I know they can deliver value. I know who they are. I know their hearts and I know that they are going to serve on a higher level and help you achieve your goals. So next, I just want to dive in. You guys know me already. I say this over and over again. I don't introduce anyone. I feel like all of my guests are able to introduce themselves very well, much better than I could ever do from a script or from memory. So, Manny, please tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, your background, whatever you'd love to share today.
Sure. I come from a brick and mortar background. I owned a number of brick and mortar businesses before I kind of stumbling into marketing. I owned a pool room. I owned a 16 table pool room. I owned a hair salon with tanning beds and advertising publication. And like I said, I kind of stumbled into marketing. And now, at this point, I've done 1,500 strategy sessions, worked with 300 clients. I've got a Facebook group with 21,000 in it. I've got 6,500 on my MLS list, and I've also created. At this point, I think we're around. We're approaching product 80. I know we're over 75, and I'm working on 3 right now. So we're almost a product 80 here. So I'm constantly creating content, and what I do is I help people with marketing and strategy, and I sell courses and coaching.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm learning some things today too. I didn't know about the salon and the pool
Yeah.
room. I know you were a pool guy. I know
Mhm.
you're a pizza guy too.
Yeah.
Um, I love pizza too. So I'm learning too. And so is that's something that's near and dear to my heart because, I kind of have a similar background. I used to kind of manage restaurants and, I had other ventures, my personal chef business, a digital agency. This online space was really a catalyst for me to kind of see the possibilities. I felt like I had endless possibilities versus
Yeah.
where I was in a brick and mortar world. And so along with that came the ability to kind of make offers and deliver value. And Manny was one of those key people for me to help me understand what that really was. I watched a lot of funnels and if you're anything like me, you type stuff in sometimes out of curiosity just to see what these videos are and how these things are presented. You kind of try to reverse engineer or funnel hack, certain things to try to understand it better. So Manny and I were talking a little bit more about making offers and you know his coaching group. So these things are critical because you need to follow the people who've kind of been there, right? It's almost like dealing with a child. And you tell the child, "Don't touch the stove, don't do it." Oh, ow, right? Don't.
Yes.
Yeah, that was hot. I told you it was hot. And so people like Manny can help you avoid that. They can help you. He can help you avoid those speed bumps and potholes in the road. And so Manny and I were kind of talking about, what it really takes to, for example, grow his group. Um, so if you guys are listening, I want you to listen carefully to what Manny has to share. And Manny, where do you think people should start? I mean, I don't want to try to guide this conversation, but
Sure.
I really want to lean on you and I want to have my notebook ready when you're talking, but where do you
Sure.
think people should start when they're getting out there and they're trying to grow their coaching business or consulting business? What do you do?
Well, I think, anything that you're doing, it doesn't matter what business it is. The bottom line is you need to build an audience of potential buyers. Now, the great thing is there's simply two ways to do that. You can do it organically, or you can do it the paid way. So you can either run ads to get traffic, or you can build an audience free on Facebook by building a private Facebook group. And so I built a private Facebook group with 21,000. And while I was doing that, I also put 6,500 on my email list. And so the key to selling anything is you've got to have a group of people to sell it to. It's very, very difficult. Like, what you don't wanna do is you don't wanna be in the crowd, you wanna be in front of the crowd. It's very, very hard to get someone's attention when they're in the crowd. It's much easier to get their attention if you're in front of the crowd. And then so what you've gotta do is you gotta build that audience, and then what you've gotta do is constantly deliver a metric ton of value to them and demonstrate that you can help them by actually helping them. The biggest issue that I see is that people, they build an audience and they're scared to go live. They're scared to put a lot of posts and a lot of content out there, and they're also scared to make offers. The bottom line is if you're going to help people, in a lot of cases, you're going to need to sell them something. And selling someone something is not, there's nothing evil or wrong about that. I mean, that's how we help people. I mean, that's extremely important. And so how you got to look at when you're putting an offer in front of a person, I don't look like feel like I'm offering anyone anything. I feel like I'm giving them an opportunity. So, um, the key, how I do it, the key for me is I want to be speaking to people who are in pain and want help, and it's the help that I can actually provide. And so, like, if you're the big issue is a lot of people will say, "Well, you're a coach. How much do you charge? What do you do?" And my answer is always the exact same. When someone says, "Hey, Manny, how much you charge?" My answer is always, "I don't know what I charge. I don't know if I can help you yet. I don't know if we're the right fit. I'll get on a call with you, and if we're a good fit, I'll be happy to make an offer. And if we're not a good fit, I promise I will give you some ways to help you move forward, even if we're not a good fit." But most people are going for the sale too quick, and I think that you need to constantly be delivering value, telling people what you do and how you do it and how you can help them, and then say, "By the way," and this is how you phrase it like this, you can steal anything I'm saying here. Don't say, "Would you like a free strategy session?" Don't offer free strategy sessions. What I would say to people when I first started is I would say, "It seems like you're stuck here. I'd be glad to jump on a call with you and see if I can add some value to what you're doing." And that's how I started doing the strategy sessions. And when I switched over from course creation, at the time I did that, I was around product 40. I started actually just getting people on calls. I made 5,000 in 4 days. The first four people I talked to hired me, and since then I've done over 1,500 strategy sessions and worked with 300 clients. But I think the key is you got to be talking to people who are in pain. They got to want help, and they got to want the help that you provide. If you do that, like, you're it's hard to not make a sale if they need the help that you're providing and they're raising their hand. That's what's interesting. It's like my close rate's like 85% when I talk to qualified buyers, because I'm not just talking to tire kickers. I'm talking to people who are struggling, who have demonstrated that they want help, and I've offered to help them. And then, like I said, when the fit's right, we make an offer. And if the fit's not right, we don't make an offer. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I love that approach, Manny, because a lot of people are always telling me, that I'll ask them, "Hey, what's your close rate?" And they'll say, "Well, 10%, 25%."
Yeah.
And generally
Yeah.
that's an indicator that, like you said, they're talking to the tire kickers, and
Yep.
and that's where they're losing because, like you said, those people are not in pain. They don't really want help. They're just kind of sizing people up. And sometimes they really just want to take the information that they can, try to implement on their own or pass it off to someone else and have them do it. But really, those people who are in pain, they're committed. They don't want to feel that pain anymore. They want to
Right.
overcome that obstacle. And if you're the catalyst to do it, if you're the right fit to help them overcome that, your strategy of providing that value on the call And this is another thing I wanted to tap into too, is that you didn't say anything about features and benefits of your service or your product. You
Right.
actually said, kind of laying out how the process works, what it looks
Yep.
like, kind of future casting and saying, hey, if I was to help you with this, if you are a good fit, then this is what my process looks like, right?
Right.
This is what it looks like. This is what you can come to expect. But you don't open up that door for people to get into that features and benefit kind of discussion, because people will do
Yeah.
that with price, or they'll say, well, this coach over here will give me like 5 more sessions a month,
Right.
and nobody, to me, that's always been a losing battle. I mean, what was your experience in the early days with that? What made that light switch pop on for you?
Well, I basically, I kind of hit a crossroads. I did really, really well. I made a lot of money on eBay. And then I was selling courses on eBay, and then I got into joint ventures, and I made a lot of money doing joint ventures with people who had lists, and the joint ventures kind of fell out, and I kind of drew a line in the sand, and I just said, you know, I'm gonna just start coaching. I'm just gonna deliver value into groups. I'm gonna really, really help people. I'm gonna get people on calls, and when the fit's right, I'm gonna make an offer. And my mindset was I was gonna talk to 100 people, and I figured I would get, it would take me a few months to get clients, and I ended up getting, 5 clients in the first 4 days. And so that was that was the thing that I did. When you're talking about people who are getting in their close rate is 10% or 15%, there are two major issues there. One, they're not talking to people who are in pain and want help. And two, they're generally chasing, not attracting. So the key to all of this is you got to build a group of people who are following you and respect you for what you do. And you have to demonstrate that you can help them by helping them. And then you have to say, if you're struggling, I'd be glad to jump on a call and see if we can help you to move forward in some way. And that's what I did. And so when you have the people who say, I'm scheduling 20 calls, but only 10 of them are showing up. Well, the other 10 aren't, the people aren't showing up because they're not in enough pain. And so I think that you need to be talking to people who are in pain and want help, and you need to be attracting and not chasing. And so if you do those things, and like I said, if you do those things alone, your close rate will go way, way, way up. And then the other thing is what you've got to do is you got to get people on a call and you got to demonstrate again that you can help them by helping them. You don't get them on the call and then 3 minutes later ask for $5,000. What you got to do is you got to ask really, really smart questions. And in some cases, really, really dumb questions. And you got to when you walk into an emergency room and you've got a cut on your arm, is the doctor asking you if you've got money to pay? Is he talking about you having a conversation with the doctor and they're talking about helping you, right? They're talking about, well, we need to do a biopsy. We need to take a look, make sure that's not infected. We need to clean that out. They're not asking about, they're basically saying, you need help and I'm here to help you. And that's what you've got to do. And so what I would have is I would get on the call, and a lot of times you're going to get people on the call and they're going to say, but how much is it? But how much is it? But how much is it? You're going to have people who are like trying to jump the line. And my answer is always the same. Well, I don't know how much it is yet because I'm not sure if I can help you. And if I can help you, I'm going to make an offer. And if I can't, I promise I'm going to deliver some value to you. And that's how I started doing the strategy sessions. And so I'll be honest with you, Julia, I was so scared. The first 4 or 5 people I didn't make offers to because I was scared to ask for the money. And they actually ultimately said, "Manny, this sounds great. I'd really love to work with you. What would that look like?" And that's how we started it. And then later on, I created a very, very soft offer. So if you're doing this and you're scared to ask for the money, if you're doing this and you feel weird about the money, let me tell you how to handle that. All you do is you deliver a lot of value to someone and say, "You know what? I love your energy. I love your passion. I'm 100% certain I can help you with this. Would you like my help?" That's my high pitch right there. "Would you like my help with this?" And if they say yes, say, "That's great. This is how I work with people." And if they say no, say, "That's great. It was a great call. These are the 3 things I think you should do to move forward. even if we're not working together. And then the other thing that a lot of people do, Jaleel, they don't ask for the money. So when you're doing a call with someone and they demonstrated they're in pain, they demonstrated they want help, they demonstrated they want you to help them, you got to get a payment. Most people struggle because they procrastinate. And if you let them hang up and think about it, you're allowing them to procrastinate. And so what we do, we say, "That's great. I would love to help you. This is how I work with people. This is what I charge, and this is the process. And here's a link." And I would give them a link right in DM. I would send them a DM with a link for a PayPal payment. And I'd say, "You can make a payment there and we can schedule our first call." And that's how, and 98% of the people I would talk to would pay before we hung up. And so I have all these people, I'll talk to them and they'll say, "Yeah, I did 8 strategy sessions and it's going really good." And I'll say, "Well, how much money have you got?" And they say, "No, no, no one's paid yet, but we're kind of in communication." The other thing is you don't want to have a conversation to have another conversation. You don't want to have a conversation that leads to another call, because people will string you along and just try and get as much information as they can from you without having any intentions of hiring you. And so I do free strategy sessions and I don't make any big deal about it. I'll talk to anybody for free. I'll deliver value to you. And I've done 90-minute strategy sessions and not asked anybody for any money. And when you do that, number one, you get real respect from people. But two, like I said, you don't get a second shot at it. You get one call. And if you want to move forward, I can give you a link to make payment. And that's how it works.
I love how you do that because I used to do that back in the day,
Yeah.
it was a big deal, and I would spend an hour or 2 hours on there, and I
Mhm.
felt weird about asking for the money,
Yep.
but, there also was a point where they were just scribbling notes or,
Yeah.
just kinda eating
Yep.
information up, so I knew that was good, right? But I didn't know how to make that soft offer, you know,
Yeah.
and you do it,
Yeah.
and it's like a temperature check. That's all it is. Like,
Yep.
"Hey, are we tracking or is your head off somewhere else? Or you thinking this isn't for you?"
Right.
And it saves frustration on both ends, but I really love the idea of giving the value because even if they're not if you don't end up working with this person, I
Uh-huh.
mean, the
Yep.
odds of once you've given them that value, right, they're gonna go out and they're gonna tell somebody else, "Hey, Manny didn't
Oh,
work with me, right? But he gave me these 3 things. I did that. Cash started
yep.
flowing in, and, this guy really knows what he's talking about. You should probably check him out or reach out," right? So how many referrals do you think you've gotten
Oh,
from your
yeah.
practice?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna tell you the biggest mistake one of the biggest mistakes in this space. So, if you're selling coaching and if you're doing strategy sessions, talking to people, delivering value that leads to an offer, you're going to have a lot of people where 45 seconds in, that they're not buying from you. They're 3 months behind on their mortgage payment. They're parking their car around the block because they're 2 payments behind and they don't want it repossessed. But you'll talk to people who are really in dire straits. And first of all these people say, "Well, we need to how do you pre-qualify people? How do you pre-qualify people?" I don't pre-qualify people. I talk to people who need help, and if I can help them, I help them, and if I can't, I give them the next 3 things they should do. And so, the biggest mistake is people get that person on the phone or on a Zoom call, and then they say, "I'm gonna get rid of this person because they can't buy from me." And my attitude was always, this person is really in trouble and this person needs a lot of help. And this is the only time I'm ever going to speak to this person. So I would literally double down on the value and I would give them everything that I could possibly do to help them because they were struggling. And then what would happen is I would have people who would hang up and they would go into Kim or Luna's group, which was the Freedom Hackers, and they'd say, "Hey, I just talked to Manny Talavera for 90 minutes. He delivered more value that I got from B school, and he never asked me for a penny." And I would get 15 people DMing me asking me to get on a call. And so when you deliver value to people, who can't possibly help move forward with you, they want to refer to you, that they want to send people over. And I got so much money from people. And what's interesting is you get people who are so indebted to you. They say, Manny, I can't possibly work with you right now, but I'm going to come up with the money to work with you and I'm going to hire you because you really delivered so much value to me. And then they come back 90 days and hire you. Or like I said, they send 5 people over. But my mindset was, I'm doing organic marketing. These leads are free. They're not costing me anything. And I feel like that well, first of all, there's ways to look at this. First of all, if you're just getting started in this, you're not going to be good at it. Why do you want to blow up qualified leads? Why don't you just talk to anyone? My advice to you all is give anyone and everyone on the call that needs help and deliver as much value to them as possible and get really, really good at that. And if you do that, money's going to start coming in. But don't worry about qualifying people until you're paying for the leads, until you've got so much deal flow that you have to qualify people before you get them on a call. But my mindset has always been just over deliver. And like I said, when you do that, you get so many referrals that it's just crazy.
You're absolutely right. You know, we're at about the 5-minute mark almost. And so, you know, I got that value. When I followed that tip that you gave me, it was actually less than a year ago. I met this lady through a Facebook group, you know, and like you said, she was in pain. She needed help. Like she had all of this course material and she couldn't possibly launch. Like she was stuck, you
Yep.
know, and so I helped her. And what really grabbed me by the collar, what really grabbed my attention was I noticed after a first call, right before I hung up on the first call, she said, "You know what? You are awesome at this. And I've got 2 friends I want to refer to you." You know, and I was like, "This is awesome." Right? Day
Mhm.
2,
Yep.
we get on our next call, you know, and I deliver value, deliver. And she's like, "You know what? I just thought of somebody else that you could probably help." And I'm
Yep.
just, wow, nailed it. It's working. It's working. So, you know, that meant a lot, you know, and it took a lot of frustration off of me from my own old methods where, you know, I'm 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Hey, this is how much it costs and
Right.
delivering no value and becoming commoditizing myself basically.
Right.
So, you know, normally I would never do that. But sometimes, you know, when things are tight yourself, you know, you
Yeah.
kind of get off track. And so
Right.
with just about 4 minutes left, Manny, I mean, you know, you've delivered so much value and I definitely want to do another one of these with you
Oh,
whenever
sure.
you've got time in your schedule. But, you know, what's the next step now? I mean, where do we go from here after the podcast is over with? How do people get in touch with you? What does that process look like?
Yeah, they can certainly, follow me on Facebook, Manny Talavera. They can also join my group, the Coaches, Consultants, and Course Creators group. We've got 21,000 people in that group. You can certainly DM me if you're struggling, if you need some help. If there's a way I can help you, I'll certainly help you. And if I can't, I'll point you in the direction of someone who can. Your audio cut out. No audio. There you go. Nope. Good. You're back.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this microphone is on its last legs, and that's
Yeah.
okay. 'Cause I
Mhm.
needed an excuse to get a new one, so now I got
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, you know, and Manny's not selfish. That's what I was saying is that, you know, if he's honest with you, he's real with you, and if he can't help you, he's gonna point you in a direction of somebody who can help. And that's what you should be doing as a coach, as a consultant, even as a course creator. I mean, your course is not for everybody. So, you know, you gotta be clear about that.
Yeah, I think that, I think the biggest mistake people try to do is you know, you gotta be willing to pass, right? There's a number of people like, I can't help everyone. And like I said, I would not make an offer to a person who's clearly not in a position to buy. I would not make an offer to people who are clearly just in idea mode. They didn't have anything built out yet. They didn't have any marketing assets. People who were in an ethereal niche where they were getting leads and I didn't understand how that would work. So you're going to come across people who are, they're certainly doing great work, but they're just not in a place where I can help them. So I had a guy that was an Amazon seller, and the guy, he was doing great work, but he was selling $20 stuff on Amazon, and I was like, look. My coaching starts at $500. I would need to get you 30 sales, 25 sales just to get your feedback, but you're only making $3 a transaction. So now I've got to get you 166 sales. And that's a marketplace I don't like. That's an area I don't want to play in. I want to work with clients where we get them two or three sales where we're a hero to them. And so you got to like know who you can help and you got to be willing to pass. And that's how you navigate. And like I said, if you're not a fit, be willing to say, look, I love your energy. I love your passion. I don't think I'm the right person, but we can certainly get you in touch with someone who can help you. So,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for dropping by, Manny. I'm going to be reaching out to you again for another session because I always enjoy speaking with you, learning from you, and I'm sure a bunch of you have gotten some value. Make sure you visit Manny's group. What's the group name again, Manny?
yeah, coaches, consultants, and course creators. And like
Okay,
I
yeah,
said, 21,000 members. And
catch him.
if you go over to my wall, if you click on my wall, there's a link. You click on the link and it gives you the link to the group. So you can find it. It's pretty easy to find on my page.
Don't miss out. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody, and can't wait to see you in the next one.
Thanks a lot.